Now you have a rivalry here. Angel Reese wants to be Draymond Green, but there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch the WNBA, may not care about basketball.
This is a developing competition. Angel Reese wants to be like Draymond Green, but her play doesn't have the compelling qualities to entice casual spectators or WNBA agnostics. According to ESPN, Angel Reese's career trajectory after her first WNBA season may not be as bright as previously thought. In fact, it might be more appropriate to call it her first season of tears. It is imperative to establish that Angel Reese is undeniably a superb athlete on the basketball court before opinions turn negative. That might have been a fantastic start to her career, but the turmoil, constant complaints, and numerous retreats behind allegations of racial intolerance have severely tarnished it. After carefully analyzing her achievements, ESPN analysts have produced some astounding projections regarding her future. These discoveries might not surprise those who have followed her path closely. The first season of Angel Reese wasn't a total bust. On paper, her performance was decent and strong as she averaged 1.5 points and 9.2 rebounds per game. However, these figures don't accurately reflect her actual on-court contributions or lack thereof. She was obviously active during games, but there's a big difference between being active to pad stats and actually having an impact on the outcome of the game. Reese's main goal should be to get better at finishing at the rim. If she can do that, her rebounding numbers may go down, but her impact may go up. The greater worry is her shooting accuracy. She shoots just 39% from the field, with the majority of her efforts made close to the basket. Her efficacy is little in comparison to teammates like Caitlin Clark, who makes more efficient shots from a greater distance. Notably, Reese frequently found herself having to retrieve her own missed shots. At 39% from the field and 90% of her shots from 8 feet or closer, she was unavoidably the rookie leader in rebounds, averaging 9.2 per game. This number looks good at first, but when you realize that a large portion of these rebounds came off her own misses, it becomes less appealing. She was essentially pursuing her own shots, which, despite her diligence, doesn't often significantly add to the success of the team. Her double-doubles may look impressive on the stat sheets, but critics have noted that they frequently felt more like inflated stats than efforts that changed the course of the game. ESPN showcased a unique highlight tape with Reese's self-sustaining loop of shooting and retrieving basket after rebound. Within the basketball community, this behavior gave rise to an odd joke that dubbed her the queen of padding her own stats by cleaning up her own mess. Fans praised her statistics achievements, while analysts examined the specifics and questioned the real contribution of those rebounds to the team's overall victory. Her excellent statistics productivity hides a less attractive story, which our examination reveals. When you contrast Reese's stats with those of Caitlin Clark, who routinely records triple-doubles with impressive efficiency, Caitlin's numbers appear a little vacuous. Reese was definitely getting double-doubles, but they weren't having a big effect. At pivotal times, they weren't leading her team to success, and when the chips were down, Reese wasn't nearly up to par. She made mistakes in those high-stakes games, providing detractors with even more grounds to doubt her future prospects. To be honest, there are a lot of other reasons why we follow women's basketball outside just one individual. But Angel Reese, who exuded confidence on and off the court, entered the WNBA with the air of a woman who controlled the league. She didn't just walk into the league, instead, she made audacious declarations that she was the main draw. The twist is that those annoying little things called numbers projected an entirely different picture because reality had other ideas. This is where things become really interesting. When Reese was recovering from a wrist injury, something strange occurred. In fact, attendance went up. Yes, that is accurate. Fans were turning out in larger numbers than they had in the past while Reese was recovering. Though it's a bitter pill to take, it begs the question, did anyone truly care about Reese in the first place? Although the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, has been in existence for several decades, it did not previously command significant attention. However, this has changed, largely due to the efforts of Caitlin Clark rather than Angel Reese. Because this is too compelling to ignore, let's dissect it. Reese's wrist injury toward the end of the season caused her to miss a good number of games. Now, common sense would say that ticket sales could suffer when one of the league's top names is out, wouldn't they? Not quite, though. Actually, the reverse occurred. August 17th, game versus the Connecticut Sun drew 9,300 spectators, an 11% increase over the previous home game. Not only were fans still attending, but their numbers were increasing. It begs the question, maybe nobody was there for Reese all along? Between 2022 and 2023, the WNBA's viewership increased by 40%, but after Caitlin Clark joined the team, that number skyrocketed to 400%. And that's not where the narrative ends. Following elimination, Caitlin Clark missed games, which caused the league's stats to plummet. It seemed as though the passion around basketball had been momentarily drained away when attendance and TV viewership dropped. When Clark was not in the game in late August, TV ratings fell by 18%. You can see the clear difference in this case without doing any math. People are aware when Clark is not present. But things get complicated when Reese goes missing, and that has to hurt Angel Reese. Reese is in a difficult situation because the story that makes her the major attraction is beginning to fall apart around her. This plot has attracted the attention of the media, which has intensified scrutiny. There's growing suspicion about whether her confidence was premature as doubts begin to surface. Even the attendance figures are already undercutting her claims of being a superstar, despite her audacious boast to the contrary. Her first season did not impress statistically. Playing for a team with a dismal 13 wins to 27 losses record, Angel Reese got injured and missed the last 6 games of the season, in addition to not making the playoffs and their coach being fired. By comparison, Caitlin Clark started all 40 games, leading the Indiana Fever to its finest season since 2015, averaged nearly 20 points per game, and led the league in assists. Reese's performance is not well represented due to the stark contrast between the two rookies' efforts. Reese finds herself in a precarious situation where her outward confidence does not match her real performance on the floor, while Clark emerges as the WNBA's new sensation. The burden is on her as her second season approaches. She needs to significantly improve her gameplay to change the prevailing story. Right now, the hype around her doesn't match her accomplishments on the court. Reese's audacious claims tend to overshadow her real sportsmanship, and the numbers brutally demonstrate this. Her expanding list of difficulties has been further complicated by criticism she has received for the way she has behaved toward officials. What began as a simple competition between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has swiftly transformed into a critical examination of Reese's shortcomings. Reese's contributions have seemed to have less of a lasting effect than Clark's, who has been setting records and leading her club to the playoffs. Reese's less noteworthy accomplishments, despite making the all-rookie team, stand in stark contrast to Clark's impressive statistics and leadership. This distinction was most noticeable after Reese's game-ending ejection, which seemed almost too well staged to match the WNBA narrative. I need all of you guys to realize there's 2 of us that changed the game of women's basketball, and it's not just Caitlin Clark, Reese declared, facing the reporters with defiance. It will stay that way going forward, since I was a part of it in the national championship game 2 years ago. The fan base has clearly divided on her willingness to play the antagonist. Reese has made the decision to play the antagonist in the continuous drama surrounding her WNBA career. This decision often portrays Reese as desperate rather than as a powerful force on the court, especially in light of Clark's work ethic and humility. Reese's attempts to undermine Clark have frequently failed, partly because of Clark's intense concentration on her performances that break records and her apparent indifference to Reese's difficulties. Furthermore, Reese's further victimization accusations, in which she charges racism and bias in the media and among fans, have not been well received by the WNBA's devoted following, who often root for underdog tales and players who gracefully own up to their mistakes. Fans, who are not duped by Reese's lackluster performances, are beginning to get weary of her victimization narrative and constant charges. If she won on the court, her persona as the league's self-described enemy may have greater resonance. Her arrogance and assertion seem baseless in the absence of real gaming success. Clark, on the other hand, is winning over fans with her straightforward, drama-free approach, which increases her marketability and attractiveness. Reese's situation is ironic in that she once tried to be seen as the league's bad actor. Now, she is dealing with the fallout from that choice and finding it difficult to remain marketable and relevant in a league that is changing quickly. Rather of elevating Reese's profile, this battle has exposed her flaws and might perhaps endanger her career if she doesn't make a major improvement in her performance. Reese deals with increasing unfavorable media attention and dwindling possibilities as Clark thrives, winning accolades and public adoration. Reese's continuous dramas are not attributes that brands desire in a league where a player's marketability may greatly influence their success. Rather, they prefer relatable, successful personalities. Reese is currently far behind. In order to reverse the unfavorable trends, she must not only change her public persona, but also provide significant, memorable performances on the court. It's easy to read the scoreboard, and Reese is currently significantly behind. Her ability to translate her aggressive rhetoric into effective, real-world acts in a league that is impatient with underachievers will determine how far she can go in the WNBA. Clark, meanwhile, lets Reese handle the difficult situations she has created for herself while letting her excellent performances speak for themselves.